Hi, my name's Jim McAdam, and this day, 50 years ago, I was in this exact same spot. In those days, I was at Queen's University doing a degree in agriculture, and I was a member of the Sub-Aqua Club. And every summer in Queen's Sub-Aqua Club, we had a summer excursion or an outing. And in 1971, there were 5 of us came to the Aran Islands. And I don't remember who was the exact reason, but someone suggested that one of our dives, we should go into the the Wormhole, because there was a lot of legend around it, and there was some fear, and just it was an interesting place. And it was believed it was connected to the sea by an underground cavern, and we should explore that. So that evening on I think it might have been Sunday, that doesn't matter, in 1971, we came here about 7:30 in the evening. Now we had to walk from Kilmervy House, where we kitted out. We had our wetsuits and our cylinders and everything, and we were pretty exhausted by the time we got here. But anyway, it was quite calm, and we got down there, and looking today, I just can't remember how we actually managed to climb down to the place, but anyway, and we went down in that corner there, the water, and there was I think a couple of dozen or 30 islanders or local people had gathered on the cliff top above to watch, and we swam around a bit, the 5 of us, and we went down to the bottom. I think it was about 10 meters deep, and then we saw in that corner the large cavern that went out to the sea. So we swam out of that, but it was beautifully lit, because I reckoned it was near 100 meters long. There's a bit of it that's under the water there, but it was the size of a double-decker bus. I mean, and we swam sort of quite gracefully through it, and there were fish coming in and out, and there was kelp drifting up and around, and we got out and we come up in the open sea. Our heads popped up, and there was a cheer and applause from the cliff above, and then we swam back in again and got out. But it was a totally momentous occasion. And we went back to Kilmervy, and we did another dive the next day around somewhere between Inishmaan and Inishmore. So about 2002, which would have been 30 years afterwards, I was back with my wife on the islands, and I thought, well, we'll come and see this game, but we were going past Kilmervy House, and Geraldine says, why don't you, because I knew that's where we'd stayed, why don't you go in and see if they have any record in the visitor's book or something? Because I had did a report of the dive and signed our 5 names in the book. And sure enough, the girl, Trasa, as she was then, she dug out the guest book, and there we were listed in it. And we had said just that we had stayed there. And she went, and she was a girl of 11, I think then, and she remembered us being there. And she went and got her elderly mother, who was very excited. She said she had never forgotten these boys from Queen's University who had dived. So then we sort of planned that maybe with the 50th anniversary, I would maybe try and contact the other 4 guys, and we would come back here and just meet up again, stay in the house, have a few beers and reminisce. But with COVID and everything, it hasn't really been possible. I tracked one of them down, a chap Bob Kingsred, who lives in England. He would have come, but he couldn't come over because of transport. And the other 3 guys, I don't know where they are. The university's tried to find them, and I've tried to find them, but maybe a bit of publicity through this, they might pick it up and say, we were there on that day. But yeah, it was a calm day, and you wouldn't have gone in anything like this, I could say. But it was just momentous, and I'm just proud to have been a part of it. And really surprised that so many local people I talked to actually remember that day. There's a famous writer called Tim Robinson, who's written a lot of books about Aran and about stones of Aran and so on. And he mentioned in one of his books that, there was a story that some guys from Belfast had actually dived there. So I wrote him a letter a few years ago, and he wrote back and was delighted to get it confirmed and so on. Terrific, yeah, great support and a lot of interest in the whole thing, yeah. I mean, of course, the Wormhole now is taken over by people diving from above, but in those days it was just quite a novelty or unique feature that these guys would actually want to dive under the water. when I went to Queen's University in 1969, I was always interested in the sea and marine biology and so on. So the opportunity came to join the Sub-Aqua Club. I joined. And in those days, it was difficult to afford. The gear was expensive, but the benefit of being in a Sub-Aqua Club is they had the cylinders and compressor and gear and could organise it and support it all. So that was great. And I dived throughout my university career. After that, not so much, but I did agriculture and agricultural science. And then I spent 3 years in the Falkland Islands, setting up an agricultural research station. And I did some diving there as well on some of the wrecks, and that was crystal clear water again, just like the North Atlantic. When I came back in late 1979, I started work with the Department of Agriculture as an agricultural researcher, looking at grassland management and upland management. And gradually at that time, environmental issues were becoming more of a concern in agriculture. So my research focused around how to make farming more environmentally friendly. And one of my students in my first couple of years of lecturing was Patrick McGurn. And Patrick later joined the department and had a career as an agricultural advisor and did a PhD in agriculture. But then about 10 years ago, Patrick got a job to manage the Aran Life program, which was really to help make farming on the islands more environmentally sustainable and to bring back a lot of the old ways of farming. So, I was delighted to see that. And then when I came out in 2018, I came over for a conference with Patrick and kept in touch with him. And then when I came back yesterday or today, he said, look, I'll tie in with you again because he's a student of Queen's University, a student of mine. And he also has with him a young student from the university who's doing his work experience in environmental science on the islands. So there you have another generation of Queen's University students. So we have a good link with the university, if you like, starting here in the Wormhole. I'm chairman of the Agricultural History Society of Ireland, and my predecessor was Professor Michael O'Connell from Galway University, who's done a lot of research on the vegetation history of Aran Islands. So Michael and I have collaborated on agricultural projects, and he'll be delighted that I'm here today. And he's retired. He's in Galway, and he's retired.
Dotted all over Ireland.
Dotted all over Ireland. People who have an interest in sustainability and how we preserve and yet keep people able to farm and make a living from these really important landscapes. We're an island nation, and I remember I was involved in a project to get an old wooden ship reconstructed down in County Cork and in West Cork, the island which was taken to the Falkland Islands and brought back. But she was restored, and when she was being launched, the priest who actually broke the bottle or whatever it is on her bow, one of the things he said, how important the seas were, he said, the lands divide us, the seas unite us.